93.9 FM if you're tuning in from Klang Valley. Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to the show in another brand new episode of Focus 30 with me. My name is Keith Elias. All right now, let's talk about sustainability, which is it is a term we hear a lot these days. And when we talk about sustainability, we often think about like electric cars, about renewable energy, or maybe cutting down plastic waste. But did you know that the aviation industry can go green as well? Now, here's the challenge. Aviation is said to be like one of the hardest industries in the world to decarbonize, and that is where sustainable aviation fuel or SAF comes in. So the big question is, how ready is Malaysia for SAF, and what does this mean for our industry and for our future as well? Hence, to share more on this, to share more on SAF in Malaysia, in the studio with us right now, we have the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Gamalux Oil, Sindran Berhad, Mr. Usman Ahmed. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Kes, for having me here. Thank you to Bernama Radio for giving me the opportunity to present my insight into sustainable aviation fuel.
We
As
are.
you
Mhm.
rightly said, Kes, sustainable aviation fuel is advanced biofuel made out of waste-based products or renewable sources
Mhm.
that can directly blend into jet fuel with no modification to existing aircraft engines. As you also said earlier, that like electric cars
Mhm.
for road transport, we have an alternate. Airplanes operate on a different mechanism. It needs a very high density of jet fuel, and sustainable aviation fuel has gained momentum because it offers a pathway to reduce life cycle emissions up to 80%
Mhm.
without any need to change any existing aircraft technology. It's also known as a drop in fuel,
Mhm.
meaning it can be blended seamlessly with existing aircraft technology and airport infrastructure.
So maybe for us who've been listening this term SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, for the very first time, how is it different from the regular jet fuel that planes use today? How is it different, SAF?
As I said earlier, airlines or airplanes operate on jet fuels, which are fossil based fuel. Sustainable aviation fuel comes from renewable, certified, sustainable waste based resources. That means that no additional greenhouse gas emissions are emitted by using this. It's already a waste which
Mm-hmm.
is being produced currently in the globe, and there are many certification schemes which confirm that it's a certified sustainable waste. And the reason it's a drop in fuel, it can be blended seamlessly
Mm-hmm.
with existing jet fuel technologies in all aircrafts.
I see. All right, interesting. And also, we often hear that aviation is one of the hardest sector to decarbonize. So maybe from your point of view, why has SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, become such an important global topic?
Uh, as the saying goes, we are all children of the planet, and we all have to live. We all need a cleaner and greener earth for our future generation. In this millennia, many countries have focused on green policies and certified sustainable schemes. For example, even Malaysia has a 2050 national energy transformation scheme, which offers greenhouse gas reduction and focuses on all sustainability schemes. Similarly, in aviation, they have all set net zero, which I presume 2050 may be a challenge to decarbonize completely aviation, but we all have got to start somewhere. So this is where SAF comes in, that it can be blended seamlessly with existing aircraft technologies, a
Mm-hmm.
fuel which is produced from certified sustainable waste-based feedstocks.
Yes, talking about waste-based material, we want to know where does SAF actually comes from, and like what you mentioned earlier, it can be produced from like a variety of renewable or waste-based material. Maybe you could share some of the main feedstocks being used today for SAF.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing this up. Globally, there are many kinds of feedstocks which are used to produce sustainable aviation fuel. The primary ones include used cooking oil, animal fats like tallow, forestry residues, municipal solid waste, algae, and waste oil byproducts. Like in Malaysia, we have the palm oil milling industry. It produces waste oils like palm oil mill effluent and empty fruit bunch oil.
And then it's really interesting because you mentioned use cooking oil, which is really fascinating, I think, because who would have thought our used cooking oil from the kitchen could literally help to fly a plane? So why is UCO, used cooking oil, considered such a valuable feedstock for SAF?
Uh, as the industry sources and SAF say, used cooking oil is the absolute darling of aviation industry. It's one of the most mature and widely utilized feedstock for commercial SAF production due to its proven sustainability credentials and compatibility with existing refining technologies. And it's
Mhm.
easy to collect.
Easy to collect, right?
It's all
Straight,
liquid.
yeah, from the kitchen as well,
Yes.
straight from the kitchen. All right, so let's talk about Malaysia. When it comes to Malaysia, what makes us well positioned to contribute to this supply chain?
Malaysia is blessed with many natural resources, and for SAF production and its feedstocks, we've got the well established palm oil industry of Malaysia, which produces a lot of waste which go directly in the production of sustainable aviation fuel, such as byproducts from palm oil industry, which include palm oil mill effluent,
Mhm.
empty fruit bunch oil, spent bleaching earth oil. Malaysia, of course, has a lot of foreign visitors, and its existing population generate a lot of food waste, which is used cooking oil, as you rightly said earlier, from its food and hospitality businesses. All of these sources combined give a very good sustainable aviation fuel feedstock outlet, which Malaysia brings to the supply chain.
Interesting. All right. Also, you mentioned about the blending mandates. Let's talk about it. And we're starting to see SAF blending mandates being introduced in countries like here, our very own Malaysia, also Singapore, and others in the region. So, how do this mandate influence market demand in the region?
Blending mandates give an outline and indication to investors for long term policies of the governments in the countries there. This creates long term visibility for investment across the supply chain. For example, if we talk about Malaysia, Malaysia has introduced its 1% SAF blending requirement for all international flights flying out of Kuala Lumpur International Airport from next year, that is year 2027. That means it will be mandatory for Malaysia to use 1% SAF. And Malaysia plans to increase this mandate to the year 2050 as per its existing national energy transformation scheme. Similarly, Malaysian Airlines has also flown its first locally blended SAF flight from Kuala Lumpur to London last year in September, courtesy of Petronas.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk about the region, Singapore is leading. It has already implemented and introduced its 1% blending mandate to blend sustainable aviation fuel with conventional jet fuel starting this year, 2026,
Mm-hmm.
for all flights flying out of Changi International Airport at Singapore. The country also plans to increase its SAF blending mandate from 1% to about 3 to 5% by the year 2030. Singapore has also implemented the first SAF passenger levy so that it can fund its SAF program. If we talk about neighboring Thailand, the
Mm-hmm.
policy of the mandate is still not being formulated. Sources close to the industry say that Thailand will also implement 1% blending mandate. Hopefully, the policy will be announced by later this year. Whereas the neighboring Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
similarly like Malaysia, has also implemented 1% SAF blending mandate from next year, 2027. It plans to increase it to about 2.5% by the year 2030. So, this
Mm-hmm.
is all the regional things with Singapore leading and Malaysia and Indonesia following.
Malaysia is not bad, 1% beginning next year. And as you mentioned, Malaysia Airlines has started to use blending mandates. Okay, but what does it mean by blending mandate? Does it mean that blending SAF and the normal fuel as well?
Yes, that means 1% means that whatever fuel, jet fuel the airline
Mm-hmm.
requires, 99% will be conventional fossil-based jet fuel, and 1% produced from certified sustainable feedstocks such as used cooking oil or palm oil mill effluent. This will be used to manufacture SAF. Malaysia has got the first SAF production plant in Johor Bahru,
Mm-hmm.
started commissioning last year, and Petronas is also planning to commission its first SAF production plant in Johor by the year 2028. So, this will give Malaysia a refining and production capacity of about 1 million tons per year, hopefully by the end of year 2029. So, this is quite a substantial quantity which can be used for its blending mandate to be used at all airports, not just Kuala Lumpur International Airport.
Interesting. Also, let's talk about the role of refineries. We know that it is very important. And what role do refineries in Malaysia or Singapore or maybe Thailand play in supporting SAF deployment across the region?
We must have refineries which can refine certified sustainable feedstocks from waste, such as used cooking oil, such as palm oil mill effluent, such as empty fruit bunch oil, which is the region's most abundant waste. These refineries must come with cutting edge technologies and must be installed at the right logistical ports so it can be exported and transported for airlines to use. For example, Singapore has the largest SAF refinery in the region with 1 million tons capacity already operating in Singapore by the company of Finland, Neste, in Tuas. And Malaysia likely has also started its first refinery from a Chinese investment firm in Johor, with Petronas following suit, hopefully by the year 2028. So these refineries play a vital role in furthering sustainability policies and generating SAF demands.
Mm-hmm, interesting. All right, for those of you who just joined in, this is Focus 30. Today we are talking about sustainable aviation fuel in Malaysia. All right, so we've talked about SAF. What does it mean? The feedstock, the refineries, the policies. Now let's bring it closer to home. Let's talk about Gamalux itself. Tell us more about Gamalux. What do you do?
Gamalux is an internationally accredited company with many certification schemes, such
Mm-hmm.
as the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, International Sustainability and Carbon Certification Scheme, many European Union certified schemes. We source, manage, and refine sustainable feedstocks for sustainable aviation fuel production, such as the used cooking oil, palm oil mill effluent, empty fruit bunch oil, spent bitching earth oil, and other waste and residues from the palm oil milling and refining industry of Malaysia. We operate specialized refining facilities both in the east and west Malaysia to produce value added feedstocks which are readily converted into sustainable aviation fuel with markets that require strict compliance and sustainability requirements.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have company or production in Lahad Datu as well.
Yes, that's why I said East
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia in the
Mm-hmm.
state of Sabah.
Yep.
We operate in Lahadatu. That's our first feedstock processing facility. The second one we have is in Westport, Pulau Indah, which just started commissioning this year.
Mm-hmm. So how does this Gamalux feed, especially within the SAF value chain?
We operate in the midstream of the supply chain
Mm-hmm.
for SAF. We bridge the gap between upstream feedstock sources to downstream converters through disciplined refining and strict quality control.
Mm-hmm.
SAF basically does not begin at the point of refining of SAF or production of SAF. It begins at the point of feedstock aggregation and integration. Our focus in Gamalux is to collect and manage certified sustainable feedstocks, especially used cooking oil and palm oil mill effluent out of Malaysia, which downstream partners like SAF refineries can convert it into ready to use blended SAF with jet fuel.
I love when you say use cooking oil because I feel like I am part of it. I have used cooking oil at my kitchen. I feel like I can contribute my UCO to fly a plane. All right,
Yes.
impressive. Okay. And also, congratulations on your recent award. We heard that Brand Laureate 20th Anniversary Special Limited Edition Best Brand Awards as a sustainable brand. Congratulations. That sounds so cool. How do you feel about it?
Thank you very much for your felicitations. We feel great, and I feel this is achievement which the whole team at Gamalux is proud to have. It's a teamwork, and we believe that we will do better in the years to come.
And also, maybe you could share with us opportunities does the SF sector or Gamalux can offer to our young talents and also economic diversification?
See, Malaysia is all about circular economy. We at Gamalux, when we talk about sustainability, we talk about feedstocks, we are talking about one of the heartlines of Malaysian agriculture, which is palm oil. Malaysia produces about 19 million tons of palm oil annually. As per the Malaysian Palm Oil Board estimates, waste-based feedstocks exporting out of Malaysia are close to about 1 million tons.
Mm-hmm.
In Gamalux, we not only have refining capabilities to value add and produce sustainable aviation fuel feedstocks, we are also into R&D, we are also into using local talent
Mm-hmm.
to do value addition. We upskill the local talent and we make sure that Malaysia follows its sustainability policy to the maximum.
And of course, for every opportunity, there are challenges as well. Maybe just one biggest constraint today in expanding SAF supply chain across the region.
As you said, the word challenge,
Mm-hmm.
the most challenge that we
Mm-hmm.
would say
Mm-hmm.
would be the quantity of sustainable aviation fuel feedstock.
Mm-hmm.
In other terms, it's known as scalability. The challenge in the industry is the quantity of the feedstocks. There
Okay.
is not enough raw material or sustainable feedstock to go around to decarbonize the entire aviation industry. Although R&D is being done to do more scalable feedstocks, which are biological origin. But at this point, the largest challenge that the industry faces is the scalability
Mm-hmm.
or the quantum of feedstocks available to produce SAF to decarbonize the entire global aviation industry.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? How should we overcome this constraint that you mentioned earlier?
I would think, in my personal opinion, the start would be blending mandates
Mm-hmm.
by government to chip in. Singapore did a very smart move by incorporating SAF passenger levy. It starts from about $1, Singapore dollars, up to $41, depending on cabin economy or premium cabins, depending on the regions it flies. And this is how the Singapore government is funding its sustainability scheme. So governments have to chip in. We individual citizens of the globe have to chip in protecting Mother Nature.
So, do you think Malaysia is on the right track in handling this SAF? Where
I
are we right now?
I believe Malaysia is on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia has already implemented its mandate
Mm-hmm.
starting next year. Malaysia already has a national energy transformation scheme,
Mm-hmm.
already has a goal 2050. Malaysia has already have a biofuel division within the Ministry of Plantation and Commodities overlooking this industry, which is very focused and involving all the industry players to make sure the policy that the government makes is in line with what the industry requires and what the globe requires.
Interesting. All right. Before we let you go, maybe if there's one key takeaway, maybe for businesses and policymakers, what would it be?
I would say sustainable aviation fuel begins with sustainable feedstocks.
Mm-hmm.
Without certified, traceable, and responsibly managed feedstocks, downstream sustainability claims cannot stand. For companies and policymakers, the focus should be on strengthening systems, standards, and enforcements so that SAF development is credible, scalable, and trusted.
All right, there you have it. So we have Mr. Osman Ahmad. He is the Chief Executive Officer and also the Managing Director from Gamalux All Sendiran Berhad. And thank you very much, Mr. Osman, once again for joining us today and for sharing your insight on sustainable aviation fuel or SAF in Malaysia. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there you go. So today's conversation shows us that sustainability isn't just about global discussion. Here at home, back in the kitchen, local businesses, innovators, and also policymakers are turning ideas into action. And as what Mr. Osman mentioned earlier, SAF or Sustainable Aviation Fuel reminds us that smart, forward thinking solutions are already taking flight in Malaysia. And it is inspiring to see companies like Gamalux playing an important role in shaping the future of SCF because sustainability starts with all of us, starts with you, starts with me, starts with everyone, whereby every action, every innovation helps to build a greener, more sustainable Malaysia. All right, so that's a wrap for today's episode of Focus 30. Up next, we have more music and updates coming right up. My name is Kiss. This is Bernama Radio untuk Anda.